Breaking news. Shots fired in the Persian Gulf. The world is holding its breath as urgent alerts flash across every major network. Newsrooms are in chaos, anchors scrambling to deliver updates as the story unfolds in real time. The world stood still as breaking news flashed across every screen. From bustling city squares to quiet suburban homes, people everywhere stopped what they were doing, drawn together by a single shocking headline. In cafes, living rooms, and crowded streets, all eyes were glued to the unfolding crisis. U.S. Navy warships, under the cover of darkness, launched missiles at Iranian forces in the Gulf. In command centers, military officials tracked every move, their faces tense as the situation escalated by the second. The world watched as the first sparks of conflict lit up the night. The headlines screamed as sirens wailed in Tehran, echoing through the city's empty streets. Warships sliced through the dark blue sea, their decks alive with activity. Emergency lights flashed, signaling the gravity of the moment. The world was witnessing history in the making. People everywhere watched, eyes glued to their screens, breathless and anxious. The Persian Gulf was a storm. Uncertainty and fear rippled across continents. Families huddled together, friends exchanged worried glances, and children sensed the tension in the air. It was just past midnight when radar signals picked up something strange, an unidentified blip moving fast. Suddenly, the silence broke. Explosions rocked the night, lighting up the horizon and sending shockwaves through the fleet. Alarms blared, and the calm of the sea was shattered. Shouts and alarms echoed across the water. Sailors rushed to their stations, adrenaline surging as orders were shouted over the roar of engines and gunfire. The battle had begun, and there was no turning back. Families in Iran hurried to find safe places, gathering loved ones and seeking shelter wherever they could. News anchors in Tehran spoke quickly, their voices tense as they tried to explain what had happened and what might come next. Fear and confusion filled the air. Social media buzzed with shaky videos of bright flashes on the horizon. Within minutes, hashtags trended worldwide as millions shared their shock and disbelief. Nobody could believe it. War had arrived, and it was real, raw, and terrifying. In that instant, the world saw another reminder. Mistakes in this region are always dangerous. The cost is always high, and the risk is never small. As leaders called for calm and experts debated the next move, one thing was clear: the Persian Gulf was once again at the center of a storm that could change everything. The United States Navy is one of the most powerful in the world. With aircraft carriers, destroyers, and submarines, it can strike anywhere, anytime. Iran has a large military too, with fast boats, missiles, and strong defenses along its coast. This night, these two sides faced each other. The U.S. Navy, together with Israeli forces, moved in the dark. Iran's Revolutionary Guard stood ready, watching their screens and radars for any sign of attack. Tension had been building for weeks, and now it had broken loose. Iran's leaders sent out orders: defend our waters at all costs. The U.S. ships received their own message: neutralize the threat, protect our allies, be ready for anything. The soldiers and sailors on both sides knew what was at stake. Each side believed it could win. But battles are never simple. Plans can fall apart. War is always full of surprises, and this night would prove that in every way. The first attack came fast. U.S. Navy destroyers launched Tomahawk missiles from miles away. The night sky lit up as dozens of rockets arched toward Iranian bases. At the same time, U.S. and Israeli drones rose into the air, flying low to avoid radar. The drones moved like silent hunters. They carried cameras and bombs. Their engines hummed quietly as they crossed into enemy airspace. At the touch of a button, they dropped their deadly cargo on radar stations and missile launchers. Iranian soldiers saw the flashes. They ran to sound the alarm, but it was too late for many. Powerful explosions rocked the earth as missiles crashed into bunkers and hangars. The attack was sudden and precise. Iran's defenses were caught off guard. In less than 5 minutes, the first wave was over, but the battle had just started. Both sides knew things could get much worse before dawn. As the first alarms blared, Iranian commanders sprang into action. Within moments, orders echoed through the command centers, and officers relayed urgent instructions to every air defense unit along the coast. The atmosphere was tense, but the response was swift and disciplined. Iran's military had prepared for this moment, and now, their training was being put to the ultimate test. Anti-aircraft guns roared to life, sending streams of red and yellow tracer rounds streaking across the night sky. The darkness was shattered by the relentless bursts of gunfire, as gunners aimed at the fast-moving targets overhead. From hidden launch sites, surface-to-air missiles blasted upward, leaving fiery trails as they raced to intercept the incoming drones and cruise missiles. Each launch was a desperate attempt to protect vital infrastructure and cities below. Inside radar rooms, operators scanned their glowing screens, tracking dozens of blips and dots that represented enemy threats. The tension was palpable as they tried to distinguish real targets from decoys, making split-second decisions that could mean life or death. Some U.S. missiles were intercepted, erupting in brilliant explosions high above the ground. The night sky flashed with bursts of light as successful hits were celebrated by the crews below. But not every missile could be stopped. Some flew dangerously low, hugging the terrain and weaving through valleys, making them nearly impossible to track or intercept in time. Across every military base along the coast, the blare of sirens mixed with the thunder of gunfire. Soldiers scrambled to their stations, adrenaline surging as they braced for impact. Iran's most advanced missile systems were brought online, their launchers swiveling to lock onto fast-moving drones. Operators worked frantically, trying to keep up with the sheer number of incoming threats. Yet, many of the drones used cutting-edge stealth technology, slipping through radar coverage and making themselves nearly invisible to defenders. Their shapes and materials were designed to evade detection, adding a new layer of difficulty for Iran's air defense crews. Despite these challenges, some drones were successfully targeted and shot down, crashing in fiery wrecks outside urban areas. The burning debris was a small victory in a night filled with chaos, but many drones continued their missions, flying deep into Iranian territory and transmitting live video feeds back to their commanders. These real-time images helped coordinate further strikes and assess the damage on the ground. Despite the relentless efforts of Iran's defenders, not every attack could be stopped. Explosions erupted in the distance as some missiles and drones slipped through the defensive net, striking their intended targets. The U.S. and Israeli forces had spent months planning this operation, studying Iran's defenses and developing tactics to overwhelm them. Their coordination and intelligence gave them a crucial edge. The weapons they unleashed were not only fast, but also highly intelligent, guided by advanced technology that allowed them to change course mid-flight and avoid interception. Iran's air defense crews fought bravely, using every tool at their disposal. But this was a new kind of battle, one where technology, speed, and stealth often decided the outcome before a single shot was fired. The United States and Israel relied on cutting-edge technology to seize control of the battlefield, coordinating their efforts with precision and speed. Their command centers buzzed with activity, as officers monitored every detail in real time, making split-second decisions that would shape the outcome of the conflict. High above the Earth, satellites silently watched every move below. These eyes in the sky provided a constant stream of information, tracking troop movements, missile launches, and even the smallest changes on the ground. Spy planes soared at the edge of the atmosphere, circling the battlefield and sending back live images. Their powerful cameras and sensors captured every detail, giving commanders a clear view of enemy positions and movements. Deep inside ships and underground bunkers, commanders used advanced computers and digital maps to guide every strike. They analyzed data from satellites and planes, plotting the most effective routes and targets for their forces. The United States Navy unleashed a barrage of Tomahawk missiles from their warships at sea, each one programmed for a specific target. Inside every missile, a sophisticated digital guidance system used satellite data and preloaded maps to navigate with pinpoint accuracy, ensuring each missile reached its destination. Drones flew low over the desert, communicating with each other using encrypted secret codes. These unmanned aircraft worked together, sharing information and adjusting their paths in real time. They dodged radar detection, changing course at the last second to avoid being shot down by enemy defenses. Their agility and coordination made them nearly impossible to catch. Meanwhile, Israel's elite electronic warfare teams joined the fight. Working from hidden locations, they launched cyber attacks and electronic jamming operations against Iranian defenses. Powerful electronic signals flooded the airwaves, jamming Iran's radar systems and disrupting their communications. Iranian operators struggled to make sense of the chaos. Suddenly, Iranian radar screens went dark or flickered with strange ghost images, leaving their operators confused and unable to track incoming threats. Confusion and panic spread across Iranian bases as soldiers scrambled to respond to the unexpected electronic assault. Alarms blared and orders were shouted, but nothing seemed to work. Iranian commanders shouted into their radios, desperately trying to understand what was happening and regain control of the situation. Their voices echoed through the chaos, but answers were hard to find. This was modern warfare at its most advanced, a battle fought not just with bombs and bullets, but with information, technology, and lightning-fast decisions. The United States and Israel brought every tool at their disposal to bear, combining their strengths in intelligence, cyber warfare, and advanced weaponry to overwhelm their opponent. Iran tried to fight back, But in this deadly game of technology and tactics, their enemy was always one step ahead, faster, smarter, and relentlessly coordinated. The missiles found their targets one after another. The first strikes hit radar stations near the coast. Concrete bunkers exploded in clouds of dust and fire. Next, missiles slammed into air defense batteries and missile launchers, leaving twisted metal and flames behind. U.S. drones circled overhead, hunting for survivors. They picked out fuel depots and command trucks. With the press of a button, they launched smart bombs, turning the targets into burning wreckage. The damage was massive. Iran's main naval base took a direct hit. Huge fireballs rose over the docks. Speedboats and patrol ships burned in the harbor. Iranian sailors ran for cover as secondary explosions rocked the area. The losses were heavy. By morning, the U.S. and Israeli forces had crippled some of Iran's most important bases. The damage was clear for all to see. It was a powerful message. No one was safe, not even behind thick walls and deep bunkers. The key to the attack's success was teamwork. U.S. and Israeli commanders shared information in real time. At every step, they watched each other's screens and listened to each other's radios. They planned each strike together, hitting targets with perfect timing. U.S. Navy ships launched the first wave. Moments later, Israeli drones slipped in from another direction. While Iran focused on one threat, the other struck. It was a classic military tactic attack from many sides at once. Israel's cyber teams hacked into Iranian networks, causing even more chaos. U.S. aircraft jammed radio signals, making it hard for Iranian forces to talk to each other. Every move was coordinated, every strike planned down to the second. This was not luck. It was training, planning, and trust between allies. Together, the U.S. and Israel sent a clear message. They could work as one, and Iran was not prepared for this level of coordination. After the attack, Iran's military was in chaos. Many radar stations were gone, air defense batteries were destroyed, commanders struggled to talk to their troops, radios crackled with static, orders could not get through. Iran's navy lost ships and equipment, oil storage tanks burned for hours. Some soldiers were trapped under rubble, calling for help. The rest tried to regroup, but it was hard with no clear orders or working computers. The damage to communications was especially bad. Without radios and computers, commanders could not control their forces. The chain of command broke down. Some units did not know what was happening. Others made mistakes, firing on the wrong targets or retreating in confusion. Iran's leaders tried to calm the nation, but it was clear their defenses had been overwhelmed. The cost of the attack was huge, and it would take a long time to recover. The battle was over, but the lessons were clear. Technology and teamwork gave the U.S. and Israel a big advantage. Iran's defenses, strong as they were, could not stop a well-planned high-tech attack. Mistakes in war are deadly. One wrong move led to destruction and chaos. The world watched and remembered how fast peace could turn to violence. The costs were high for everyone: soldiers, families, and nations. In the end, the message was simple: never underestimate the dangers of conflict. War is not a game. It brings pain, loss, and regret. The world must always choose caution and peace over pride and anger. This battle was a warning to all. Making big mistakes in war can change history in just one night.